What is up, guys? Torrey Drake, Denver Realtor, and welcome to August's Denver housing market update. During these market updates, I very simply do pretty much two, maybe three things. Number one, I show you the numbers and what's changed, give you a quick breakdown of why they're changing. Then I give you three things to know if you are a buyer, three things to know if you're a seller, because the last thing I want is this market update to become a blurb of me just spouting numbers that means absolutely nothing to you. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. By the way, if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Torrey Drake. I'm a local Denver realtor. I put out tons of content about shopping for homes here in Denver, home tours, all sorts of fun stuff, community tours, so be sure to check those out if that's your jam. That being said, let's go ahead and throw the numbers up here and break down what's happening real quick. Kabam, there are the numbers. The first thing and the main thing I want to dive into on these numbers is the active homes for sale. We increased at 7,300 roughly. It's about a 20% increase. That sounds like a big increase, right? 20%, 7,000 homes. However, we normally have 15,000 homes for sale in the Denver housing market is the average number for homes for sale in July/August. We're still very, very undersupplied. And the last number I want to dive into on these numbers here, because it applies to you directly, is we saw a 3.33% reduction in housing prices month over month, as in compared to last month. However, compared to last year, we're up 11%. Compared to 2 years ago, we're up more than 22%, 22 to 25%. So some depreciation is a really good thing, a necessary thing. It's not a housing correction. It's not a housing bubble. If you're concerned about a housing bubble, you should watch one of the many videos I've made of why this is not a housing bubble. And if you think it is, you clearly haven't watched one of my videos. You should do that. So why is all this changing? Why do we have more homes for sale and why are prices going down? Two reasons, very simply. Number one, interest rates rising are pricing a lot of buyers out. Reason number two, seasonality. This is pretty darn normal in the Denver housing market to get a really busy first half of the year and a lot slower second half of the year where we have more homes for sale because we have less buyers. So interest rates and seasonality are at play. Let's dive into three things to know if you are a buyer and three things to know if you are a seller. For buyers, number one, now as in August through December is going to be an amazing time to buy because more and more buyers are going to drop off due to rates and seasonality. So you have more options and less competition in the form of less buyers to compete against. And then January, we're most likely, very likely going to pick back up in steam as many more buyers hit the market, especially if we hit a recession going into the new year and rates drop as they usually do in a recession. Even more buyers are going to come into the market due to low interest rates. So now between December is a great time to buy if it's a great time to buy for you. Thing to know number two is a lot of sellers are offering to buy down your interest rate. A lot of people don't know you can pay money to have a lower interest rate. And a lot of sellers right now are offering to buy down your interest rate in exchange for not reducing the price on their home. So instead of reducing their price by $20,000, they'll actually buy down your interest rate a point or two, which can save you a lot more money than that $20,000 on the purchase price. I don't always recommend doing that. Just because they offer it doesn't mean you should do it. It's a case-by-case basis, but just know that it is an option. Sellers are buying down interest rates for buyers. And thing to know number three, despite how much the market has slowed down, we are still drastically undersupplied in homes and oversupplied with buyers. It's competitive, it's just less competitive than it's been. Moving on to sellers, thing to know number one out of the three for sellers is number one, know how many showings to expect. If you're expecting 30 showings or 20 showings, even 15 showings the first weekend, you're gonna think something is wrong when you only get 2 showings because that's what's normal right now is the average house in Denver is getting 2 showings its first weekend. If you didn't know to expect that, you might freak out. So know how many showings to expect for your neighborhood and price bracket. Thing to know number two for sellers is have a strategy for when you will reduce your price, if you will reduce your price. What I mean by that is you should know, but your realtor should tell you how many showings it takes to go under contract in your neighborhood, in your price point. On average for all of Denver, right now it's 12 showings until a contract. So if it takes you 3 weeks to get 6 showings, you shouldn't reduce your price yet. If you're at 10 showings after a few weeks, you still wouldn't. Once you're at 12 showings and you have no contract, that's when you should reduce your price. Now, I'm not saying it should be 12 for everybody. I'm just saying you should know what that number is for number one, your neighborhood, number two, your price point. And once you hit that number and you don't have an offer, that's when you should start to consider reducing your price. Overall, have a strategy. Thing to know number three for sellers is if you do need to reduce your price, maybe instead of reducing your price, offer to buy down the buyer's rate. What I mean by that is instead of dropping your price 30 grand, offer to pay 15 grand to buy down your buyer's interest rate, because reducing your price by 30 grand may not affect the buyer's mortgage payment all that much, but paying the monthly payment, but offering to spend 10 to 15 grand, half of what you would spend on a price reduction, spending 10 to 15 grand to reduce their interest rate will save them a lot more money on their monthly payment. And most people care most about their monthly payment. So if you could put those numbers in front of them saying, hey, I'll drop my price 30 grand, but it's going to save you X dollars on your monthly payment, or I'll buy down your interest rate for 10 to 15 grand, and they see that it reduces their monthly payment by like XXX, a lot of the times they could be incentivized to take the interest rate buy down, saving you thousands of dollars. And that is August's Denver housing market update. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, and you made it this far, please hit the like button. And if you really liked it, hit the subscribe, because that would just mean so much to me. And it tells YouTube that, hey, this video doesn't totally suck, and it shows it to more people, and it helps more people. Guys, Torrey Drake, Denver Realtor. My contact information is in the YouTube description. If you're on Instagram and TikTok, I do tons of home tours on this platform, so definitely give me a follow. And I will see you guys on the next one.